have success in your quilting, you want your thread tension to be correct so that it looks good on your quilt. So let's talk about tension. First of all, in a previous video, I showed you how to use or to set your bobbin tension so that it will stand up in your hand as you lift off. A good strong stand in your hand as it lifts off of your hand, pulling the thread out of the bobbin case. Now, the top thread, we need to adjust that. We've set that bobbin tension. That's our foundation. It's set properly. Now let's work with the top thread. So if I see loops, heavy loops on the bottom, and I'm going to show you these loops and we'll talk about this, but first I want you just to see what the top of my thread or of the fabric looks like. And I've got this on the edge of the fabric so I can flip over my my fabric to see the back, but you can see these stitches and they're really pretty. They are really firm, a good strong stitch. The bobbin thread is doing its job of pulling that top thread into the batting, into the center of the quilt, and hopefully the bobbin thread is, or the top thread, it's doing its job to pull the bobbin thread up into the center because they want to meet. You want those to meet in the center to lock that stitch. So it looks really pretty on the top. So we think, hey, I am good to go. All right, let's look at the back of the fabric. And I'm going to show you different examples. First of all, you can see the loops. This tells me that possibly my top thread is not even flossed into the tension discs. That looks horrible. That's an easy unpick though. You know, I can rip that out really easy. Now let's move down and look at this one, and you can see there's no firm defined stitches. You can see the bobbin thread is just flat on the fabric, which tells me, if I've set my bobbin tension correctly, this tells me that my top thread is not working hard enough. He needs to put more muscle into it. He needs to pull that bobbin thread up into the fabric, so he needs to be tightened. Now with this, I checked my thread tension on my display and I had a lower number. So I moved my number up by adjusting my tension to make it tighter on top. And as I moved it up, you can see, and as I moved it, I maybe moved it about 30. It was at 60 and I moved it up to 90, but yours may be different. So you can't go by the numbers I used. You have to figure out what's the right tension for yours according to how you've set your bobbin tension. So this is really nice stitch quality. You can see each stitch is defined, and we can look at the top and we see the same thing. Each stitch is defined, so you know that there is really good quality stitching on the top as well as the bottom. We know that this probably the tension wasn't, or the thread wasn't flossed. The top thread wasn't working hard enough. Now if I were to see this same thing on the top of my fabric with the top thread just laying there, that tells me that my top thread is working too hard and he's pulling too much of the bobbin thread up into the fabric all the way to the top of the fabric. So if I saw that, that would not be a good thing on the top. Then we would loosen our top thread so that we see the defined stitches as we see them here.